and sometimes Scott selection show. Today we're going to go over the NCAA Men's Basketball Championship Tournament and correctly predict the winners once again. As always, I'm your host, Joe Krzyzewski, alongside Karl Smith and Scott Stanner. Scott, how are you today?
I'm dandy.
And of course, everybody's favorite, Karl.
How are you doing, everybody?
All right. Let's jump right into it. Boys, do we want to start with the first four?
No, we do not want to touch the first four.
Okay, then we're just going to skip it. So we're going to start in the Midwest region with the number one overall seed, Kentucky Wildcats. Kentucky will take on the winner of Hampton and Manhattan, but is there really a winner in this game?
Yes, there will be a winner, and it will be Kentucky.
All right, that's all I need to know. Because what I meant to say was, between Hampton and Manhattan will be a real winner, because all they get is basically led to the slaughterhouse that is the Kentucky Wildcats. So we have Kentucky moving on, and pretty much the easiest pick of the day. There's a weird tip on that pad. That was scary. Okay. That makes the next game the 8 seed Cincinnati Bearcats?
Yes.
Versus the Purdue Boilermakers. Scott, what stats do you have?
Not many, but Cincinnati. Cincinnati started off with a loss to UConn and Xavier during the regular season. Last year they lost to Harvard in the NCAA tournament. I think they're going to get a little deeper this year. And they're 5th in points allowed, so they have a good defense. I think they stand a good chance.
All right, Karl, how do you feel?
I would like to see Purdue come out of this matchup. They have 2 7-footers. I think they're going to match up pretty well against Kentucky if they get there. I'm going to take Purdue.
Okay, I'm going to take Cincinnati. Scott,
Cincinnati.
Cincinnati.
That's what I like to see. You got to think with your head now. Okay. Okay. Speaking of with your heart, the next matchup is the 5 seed West Virginia Mountaineers versus the number 12 UB Bulls making their first shot in the tournament. Karl, how do you feel about UB?
I'm going West Virginia here.
Why?
I'm not going to fall for the cliche 12 over 5. I feel like there's a lot of hype and homerism going on. I just feel like West Virginia is going to show up big time to do it.
I'm going to go with the hype and homerism and take UB because I think they actually have a shot to win this game, not so much the next game. Personal reasons probably, but I'm still going to take UB. Scott, what do you have?
I think I'm going to take UB. They're in a good spot in Columbus. They're going to get a lot of fans there. And from what I saw in the last game, they can shoot the ball pretty well.
I see some more notes, Scott. What else do you have?
Well, a long segment.
I just wrote down Justin Moss is a really good rebounder. He can clean the glass really well on the offensive end, and the team is 7th in rebounds.
Not the best stat guy in the business for nothing.
That's right.
Our 4 of 13 matchup, Maryland versus Valpo. Karl, who do you like in this matchup and why?
I like the Terps here. Star player Des Wills, former transfer. Valpo. I googled the Paraiso conference earlier and I didn't come up with anything, so I'm going to go with the Terps.
I mean, if they don't exist on the internet, they don't exist in real life, so I'll take Maryland too. Scott, do you have anything to add?
Not really. I'm going to go with Maryland also.
All right. Clean sweep.
Our next matchup is the Butler Bulldogs versus the Texas Longhorns. I don't think really Texas had any business being in the tournament. I'm going to take the Bulldogs.
I agree with that sentiment.
Agreed.
Good insight.
That's great. You took the reins there.
All right. The Notre Dame Fighting Irish versus the Northeastern whatever they are.
Huskies.
Bears, huh?
Husk Bears.
Husk Bears. I'm going to take the Fighting Husks, or the Irish.
Yeah, Notre Dame had a really good tournament for their conference. Obviously, they won it. It's the toughest division conference in college basketball.
Well, not according to the RPI.
Yeah, no. Well, what does the RPI say, Karl?
Well, the RPI says the Big 12 was actually the most competitive conference this
Does
year.
the Big 12 still have 12 teams?
They'd even have 10, I believe.
Yeah, that's not enough for 12. They're liars. I don't believe this.
Well, they also got 7 of those 10 teams in the tournament.
Really?
Yeah, that's what I know.
The more you know. Okay, well, we're going Notre Dame. Sorry, Scott, you don't really say anything this time.
Scott, why don't you lead us off?
Yeah. Come on, Scott, take the reins.
All right, so we have the number 7 seed Wichita State Shockers versus the number 10 seed Indiana Hoosiers. I have Wichita State go in here. They just have the experience and they have a strong defense. They've been here before.
I'm gonna violently sneeze. What are your thoughts?
I like Wichita State as well. I think they're actually ranked a little low, but I think they'll be able to surprise a couple people in this tournament. Like Scott said, all the experience, why not? Is this a thing?
Ooh, shockers.
Okay, shocker indeed.
What a shock that they moved on.
And the last game of the first round of the Midwest, Kansas Jayhawks versus New Mexico State
Aggies.
Aggies. There they are. I don't think the Aggies have a shot. I'm going to go with Kansas here. Carl?
Yeah, let's go with Kansas. I don't know if Sim Bouletter's there anymore, so.
Kansas.
Kansas it is. All right.
Yeah, New Mexico, not Kansas.
All right. So that brings us to the second round of this bracket. We have Kentucky taking on Cincinnati. Again, I think Cincinnati's just running into a truck here. I think Kentucky's going to blow through them. That's just my own personal opinion. Does anybody feel any other different?
We could have just called this the Kentucky bracket and then just sort of filled in the blanks for everybody along with it.
That's pretty true.
All right, your University of Buffalo Bulls versus the Maryland Terps. Give me your thoughts here.
I like UB a lot, but I don't think that they're going to be able to defeat Maryland. I think Maryland's a better team. The dream will die soon, but hey, it was a good first tournament, right? Scott, what do you got?
I think it has the potential to be a close game in the end, but I think the experience from Maryland is going to win out as well, so like Karl mentioned.
That's a name.
It's a name.
I'm also going to be Maryland.
Okay, Maryland moving on. Which brings us to a 6-3
I have
matchup.
a friend named Maryland.
Okay. Yeah. So we have the Notre Dame Fighting Irish versus the Butler Bulldogs. And Karl, what do you think?
Oh man, this is a tough. I can really see Butler pulling it out here. I don't really like Butler as a Xavier fan, but I don't know. Come back to me. Yes.
All right, we're going to come back to Karl and go Scott. Scott.
I think it's going to be a high-scoring game. I like Khaled Dunham from from Butler, and I think I'm going to take Butler in this.
Oh, so a half vote for Butler and a vote for Butler. And actually, I was going to say Butler too, thinking I was going to go against the grain here. But apparently, it looks like we're just going to have
let's do it.
slight upset moving on. That's right.
Yeah,
that's
these things happen.
happen all the time. Which brings us to the 7-2 matchup, Wichita State Shockers versus Kansas Jayhawks. And quite frankly, I was going to pick the upset here with Wichita State taking down Kansas. I just don't trust Kansas. I trust Wichita State more. They've always wanted this matchup. Kansas kept avoiding it. They're gonna win the battle of Kansas. Go Wichita State.
It is in Omaha.
Yeah, but they're both in Kansas.
Good, because Omaha's in Nebraska.
Scott.
This one's a tough one. I want to say Wichita, but Kansas has been really strong as of late. I think they're going to pull it out.
You actually have to make a decision.
I don't know. I'm nervous.
I want you to do what
Then
you
we're going to have
want.
to have Butler or Wichita State move on to the Elite Eight, and I don't want
You
either.
can't focus on that. You have to focus on the game at hand, son.
One game at
I
a
am
time.
focused on winning these people's brackets for them. That's what I'm focused on.
Nobody's watching this.
You got to go one
We
game
had
at a
31
time.
views last year.
You know,
I watched each one a dozen times, but we had 31 views.
that's our numbers are up. By the way, high 5 years from now, us.
How are you doing? Still pretty pathetic, huh?
So why don't you make the call here?
Okay, you know what? Give me Kansas. You want
Ohio
it?
State?
Oh, there's the first time that Scott and Karl are both wrong. I'm gonna star that for later, so remember it. But moving on to the Elite Eight. Kentucky, Maryland. Give me a reason, Scott, why Maryland can beat Kentucky. Exactly.
There's not many. I think they have 2 star players, and Kentucky has 10, 12 platoons.
It's going to be really hard to pick against Kentucky. Do you have a reason why we should? Nope. Going Kentucky.
Trouble, bad refereeing,
Kentucky, moving on.
plane crash. Butler and Kansas.
Butler and Kansas. Well, I'm going to pick Butler because I didn't think Kansas would get this far. So I'm going to leave it up to you two to decide on what the match should be. Karl.
You can't think like that, you know. You have to focus on the match up at hand.
Yes, if I Kansas was going to get this far. Why would I think they go even further? Logic. Scott.
I think Kansas just plays their fundamentals well.
Fundamentals.
Butler's gonna try to shoot the three, and Kansas is gonna bring it back on him, get the rebounds and score.
All right. So I'm also going to go with Kansas, and that'll set us up for Kentucky, Kansas, in Cleveland.
Hooray for chalk. Anyways, well, since we have Kentucky, Kansas, and using my last thing where I just said that I think Kansas is going to get this, flaws, I think Kentucky is going to murder most people.
Yeah.
I kind of would like Kentucky to move on here. It's so hard to pick against them.
It is.
Kansas also lost to Kentucky earlier in the season by 32 points.
32
Mother
points.
of God.
We would lose to Kentucky by, oh yeah, we could go. But still, it's worth a shot. All right, so Kentucky will be the team coming out of the Midwest, to nobody's surprise. Most people's brackets have that, and that's
What we do here.
we'll be coming up with the West bracket in a minute. And that's part we should.
Instantaneously, because they don't have to wait for that. Well, it's going to upload. It takes a second.